Hey everyone, my name is Nathan Pay, and welcome to another episode of Coffee and Crypto. We've got Miles joining us again, head of research at Blu Ocean Games Guild. It's been a few weeks, since
Yes,
we on this.
well, the
You know,
wheels of fate are turning.
yes, a
I
lot
will
of
be, I don't know if I made this public before, but I will be moving to El Salvador. And so the preparations are nearly complete for that. And I'm very excited to join you live for the first time, perhaps in about 2 weeks or 3 weeks,
we're going to be able to get back to
maybe a
our
month.
roots and doing Coffee and Crypto in person again. And I'm excited just to get this going again. A lot of people on the channel might not know. I got a little bit of an accident, tumbled on my Vespa, they call it here, but I'm
Yeah,
doing better.
that's right.
So I kind of staggered the videos and did a whole bunch of them. Luckily, before I got hurt, and then I've recovered and I've been completely fine, and I'm on the mend now. I apologize for missing a couple of weeks there, but I'm excited to get this back in. We've got some awesome project leaders getting lined up for some more coffee and cryptos down the road,
Yeah.
and I'm just super bullish on the gaming narrative right now, man.
Oh,
Like
everybody is. Even the people who don't play video games are super bullish on the gaming narrative right now.
I
Anybody who
know
all the people that I follow anyway.
it's interesting to see, and we like you could almost predict it, but not predict it before. Like we seen how play to earn really took off during the last bull run, but by no means was it like the primary narrative that was going on. It's just all these AAA projects and sound projects, I guess you could say, have spent so long building that we're all getting. It's like that everything is just syncing up. The timing is really
So
well.
I could talk a little bit about that actually. I mean,
Please.
the parallels between this cycle and last cycle would be the greed index. Like everybody is exactly as greedy and speculative as they were
Mhm.
last time. The difference, however, between this cycle and last cycle is that last cycle we had a bunch of games, AAA games perhaps, that were going to be the next big thing. They're really exciting and a lot of backing and a lot of publicity, but they were early in their development cycle. They were only 1 to 2 years
Yeah.
into their development cycle, and as we know, all of the good
If that.
games that come out, especially if you look at the games that are runners up for the game of the year, those games have been in development for 6 to 8 years, and some people say that even then the finishing of those games could have taken a little bit more time. I don't know
Mhm.
if I necessarily agree with those people. I think those games like Baldur's Gate 3, for example, or like Starfield, they have their bugs and they have their problems, but they were ultimately really good for how much time was put into them. And
Mhm.
now with these Web3 games that we have, examples would be like Axie Infinity and Illuvium, and there's several others that I could probably throw out, like Avalon, for example, or Heroes of
Mhm.
Mafia. They've been in development for 3 to 4 years now, and they're getting to the sort of the apex of their development, and they can start showing off what they've done, and it will be almost complete and look nice and have the framework behind it. You know what I mean? And they'll have a plan in place. And so I think this year with the narrative of everything, ETFs, oh my gosh, Bitcoin is going up, and liquidity flowing into the system as a result of that is really just the jump start that perhaps the retail side of everybody needed, so that they can
Yes.
move their stuff around and into the places that they want to go and get excited for this next run.
Well, it's because it's flight to safety now. It's not a risk on asset like it used to be considered in the narrative. Like people are starting to realize,
Yeah,
like,
that's right. The flight to safety is no longer to fiat. The flight to safety is now just to Bitcoin.
yep, right. And what that means for the entire industry is exciting. And, you know, I like what we've really done over this bear market. We put our head down, researched tons of titles, figured out what ones spent their money in the right way, how their development was going. We really learned how to discern, I would say, really well in this space, and that helped us figure out what we wanted to place our bets on, and what projects we wanted to really get involved in, and also kind of the timelines required for some of them. Like we
And I
now
want to
know.
remind people that confidence ratings that I've made in the past and that other teammates have made in the past are certainly long plays. They're not finished. Those confidence
That's
ratings are
right.
not complete until those games are fully out. You know what I mean? And that's perhaps 1 2 years still in the making for some of them. So
And we're constantly revisiting those reports, making sure they stay up to date. So, like, when it's kind of like light papers or white papers, you look at a lot of games and they haven't updated it in a long time. I would even argue that our research reports are a better treasure trove than some of those white papers that games have, because they're not as up to speed. But, like, yeah, if the game makes a considerable change, it gets launched, that confidence score could change. It's not a permanent for everything. It's not like a review score on IGN where after the game is launched, and then that's kind of the score and only it. But I mean, big time is something I want to talk about a little bit too, because that's
me
been getting a lot of
too.
attention. And I mean, it's interesting to see the pumps that happened on the token. There's a little bit of a pullback there, but I mean, people are doing good in it. People are struggling in it. There's kind of this weird mixed narrative, which is interesting. Obviously, a lot of big guilds, kind of from what we found, a lot of big guilds, big holders are doing well. But and then there's some people who are enjoying just playing for free, grinding for the NFTs, trying to make money. But I think it's kind of setting the stage a little bit for showing a project what a project can do kind of in this time and space. Maybe they were a little early, maybe they're not, maybe the timing is perfect. But I'm going to be curious to see if things like Illuvium and Star Atlas get back up to where they were, or how that's going to play out with some of those other big AAA projects. And then we also know now Heroes of Mavia is launching officially in January. And in my opinion, I mean, anyone who watches us knows we're super bullish on that. I think these guys are going to lead the charge. Yes, I'm biased, but I just think what they're doing is so innovative. We need that cross pollination of Web 2 and onboarding those players. And I can't see a better project that has plans to do that other than Mavia. I might say Axie second because they're finally getting App Store compliant, Apple App Store compliant. They're doing microtransactions in the game, but like really, what else is there as far as projects go with that mass onboarding? I'm not really too sure. So, what do you think about Big Time and kind of what you've seen in the price action?
So, I mean, I have a bit of a story there because there's been a whole lot of moves happening both on the macro side and sort of on charts. Um, when it comes to Big Time and when it comes to really everything. So here we go. Here's the Bitcoin chart, and this is the Bitcoin dominance chart. And a lot of people have been calling for Bitcoin dominance to top out. And the conversation is, oh, is Bitcoin dominance going to top out? When is Bitcoin dominance going to top out? And for me, you can see that Bitcoin dominance does have these rallies down, and then it always ends up at a higher high and always ends up at a lower high. And so I've kind of just been drawing out, where possibly the boundaries are for that and where they might converge and what the time is for that for Bitcoin dominance to top out. And Bitcoin dominance seems to want to top out. I don't know if you can see it at the bottom of my screen, but somewhere around March, March or April, maybe even May. And then I don't know, that kind of sort of almost coincidentally coincides with the monetary policy that's going on in the United States. It's looking like there's going to be some easing with interest rates in the United States around that time, which is usually when people start to rotate into more risky things or start thinking about those risky things. So one of the reasons why you might see the Bitcoin dominance top up there and then start going down. And then if we take a look at this is the market cap of crypto minus, the market cap of all the altcoins minus Bitcoin and minus USDT, if I'm not mistaken. And that's called Total 3. And you can see that I've drawn a line here that shows sort of where I think the prior resistance might be, which is this right here. And it's sort of almost echoed there, a little bit higher there. But so we've got this line here, and you can see this is where it's been going for basically the whole year since the beginning of 2023 until now. You've seen Total 3 like slowly edging upward while Bitcoin dominance continues to go up. So what that means is that yes, there is a little bit of money flowing into the altcoin market, but it's not flowing into the altcoin market as fast as it's flowing into Bitcoin right now, which makes total sense because of the whole ETF narrative. So do I think that the altcoin market is like super healthy and everything's going great? Yes. Do I think this might oscillate back downwards perhaps, and we'll see a little pullback in the prices of altcoins when we see a pullback in the prices of Bitcoin? I also kind of think that too. And this isn't financial advice, but I feel like a Bitcoin perhaps might be a little bit overvalued right now. I can't really draw a Fibonacci retrace here, but if I could, it would show that perhaps that this top here could be one of the Fibonacci levels. I can't remember exactly what level it is, but then people would ask the question, well, is it going to go to the next level up or is it going to go to the next level down? And a lot of the bulls are saying it's going to go up. And I kind of think that it might go down first to the level below, somewhere around like the 38K point before it decides to go back up. And that would be sort of after Christmas. And the reason why I think that is because, well, everybody's going to be on vacation at Christmas time and probably not, stuck to their phones trading Bitcoin.
It's interesting we bring some of this stuff up too, because this could all get blown over the water too with one piece of news or the ETF approvals. And then, like, it's interesting.
Yeah, that's right.
One thing I always seen happen, especially during the last bull run, it would be like Bitcoin rallied, then ETH, then all the altcoins. And really, ETH is kind of part of the altcoins, but this was kind of the trend that I would notice. It's like Bitcoin rallied, then all the liquidity moved to altcoins.
And actually, if you look at Bitcoin right now, it rallied and topped out almost. It went down a little bit.
That's the important thing.
And then you go look at Yeah, play to earn comes right afterwards. You look at Ethereum right
Right.
now, it's now at the point where it's rallying. It's reaching that 2400 point a little
Is
bit. And I always, I thought in the last month or so, like everybody's sleeping on Ethereum and putting all their money into Bitcoin because of this ETF narrative. But Ethereum has really good fundamentals. So now you're seeing that rise into Ethereum. It's not really affecting the dominance. Like I said, the dominance of Bitcoin is still going up with all that ETF nonsense, but Ethereum is now showing it's following Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin were to do a pullback and then Ethereum were to follow it a couple of weeks later and pull back a little bit more, that could see prices go down and still Bitcoin's dominance go up a teeny tiny bit. And then when prices go up again, and everything follows Bitcoin properly because Bitcoin is not overvalued anymore, we'll see the dominance go down, and we'll see everything follow the altcoin market follow Bitcoin as it goes up. Basically, is what I think is going to happen. And then here I have the chart of IMX. You can see that if you look at your portfolio, you
following
might
that
see a lot of
closely too.
reds, but IMX is actually kind of pretty green right now. It's one of the few things that is trading green right now. They're doing really, really great. They've got a lot of on-the-go projects that are throwing out a lot of news, and they've got
Yep.
games like Gods Unchained and like Avalon the Druids, and there's a couple of other ones that I'm not thinking of off the top of my head that are coming out with new developments that everybody's really bullish about. So that's really exciting. And lastly, here we have the Big Time token. Everybody's been talking about Big Time. Can I earn playing Big Time? Well, I was following Big Time right around here, and to be completely honest with you, I did sort of pick up a bag right about at that point. Watched it go down just a wee bit, but I'm like, everything is pumping, so I'm sure it'll go back up. We had this miraculous giant jump when Big Time announced their I guess they had the random boxes, and people were using their wardens to start making the hourglasses and getting them to people, and people who want to play the game are now really thirsty for those hourglasses to start playing and grinding, et cetera, et cetera. We saw some all-time highs for the token right after it released, but that's kind of natural and healthy for a token that just releases for a project with good
Hmm.
fundamentals. And then it pulled back down, and now you can see that it's like posting these like highs that are. So this was a healthy point for it to go up to. We had the craziness. Craziness is now over. We go back to those healthy levels, and you can see that those healthy levels, quote unquote, are a little bit higher than they were back here. And that to me says that it's going to continue to at least trade sideways, if not go up just a wee bit while all this stuff happens. So people who are playing Big Time right now, and anybody who's excited about Big Time, it's looking really healthy. And I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, I mean, so am I. And I mean, we've done quite a bit of research, especially over the last little while, just to kind of dig into how the earnings work, what it's all about. Um, you know, is it worth investing in right now? Because you got to be careful of FOMO too, right? Like you don't want to everything's green, jump in. That's a mistake a lot of people make during the bull run, but we're not in the bull run yet either. There's a lot more liquidity that can come to big. So
So I
I
wanted to
like
say that, yes, I did pick up a bag of Bull Time, and I am pretty bullish on it, but I actually did offload my bag of Big Time when I saw those all-time highs. I'm like,
Mhm.
we're not ready for this yet, and everything is happening too fast. And if you look at all the prior cycles, you can see that everything happens too fast, and then everybody pulls back just a little bit. Whoa, whoa, whoa! Are we going too far? And then something macro happens that reinforces why everything is going up, and we are off to the races. You know what I mean? And I think that's going to happen too now, but maybe in a few weeks, a month or so. And if you're excited about these sorts of projects, I think your play would really be to go and start playing them,
You know what's
because
going to
that's
be
where you're going to
interesting
get
too?
the most information.
I think we're going to see all these clickers come out of nowhere again, and like heat of warning. It's going to make a
Oh,
lot of money, but you can lose a lot of money. But it's going to be interesting to see because when the bear market happened, all this whole narrative kind of shifted to fun games first, and everyone kind of realized that this was you know something that was more important. You need a sustainable model, which nobody had really figured out properly until a couple projects recently, in my opinion. But we've yet to see it fully play out. But we're going to see this whole surge in play to earn in these web-based browser games that seemingly pop up out of nowhere. There's going to be a lot of opportunity there. There's also going to be a lot of risk there. So kind of like you were saying, not financial advice, but I'm going to be curious to follow that and just kind of see where the liquidity goes, right? Is it going to go back to the popular projects during the last bull run because there's confidence there? Or is there just going to be this whole capitalization on the narrative? And I think there will be, because as VCs loosen their wallets and this gaming narrative is pumping, there's going to be a lot more people willing to invest, being like, oh, okay, we've seen from the last bull run, we invest in projects. Now we're getting paid out on it. Now we're willing to spend a little bit more. So, like, this is only the beginning. It's not like we have this big push and all these projects start building and that's it. We're going to see games, more new games, more things being announced. It's going to be this never ending push which is really how
Well, and
traditional.
so the next question that I've been asked, and that I've seen others asked on other shows that are my favorite shows, is that are the traditional sort of gamers, the traditional companies, going to come in and just suddenly flip and adopt all of this stuff? You know what I mean? Is that what we're going to see, the big gold mine this season? Absolutely not. Are you kidding me? That would be like asking your grandma and your grandpa to invest in Pepe coin their entire savings. No, that's ridiculous. That sounds stupid to me. You know what I mean? But
Mhm.
give it time and give it regulation, and just the way TradFi is warming up to sort of Bitcoin and that narrative. I think the traditional gaming scene and the gamers in that scene and the people who are making those games will warm up to it, and perhaps maybe not this cycle, but perhaps next cycle you'll see a larger adoption of traditional gaming studios making things that are specifically crypto oriented or that are specifically Web3 games.
I'll
Right
say it.
now,
Eventually, it'll just be games. It won't be Web two,
yeah,
Web
yeah,
three.
and eventually it'll just be games, exactly. And right now we're still seeing this like it's Web3 games, and they're like, oh, why don't we just like let's try making some NFTs? What do you think, guys? That's not enough. You need to give me a full system. It needs to be a full plan if you're going to do that, because then we're so that we know that everybody knows, we're confident that there's value in all that stuff.
And I think we all learned too, it's not about the promise to deliver later, mint, mint, then next mint, then token, then mint, still no product. I think anyone in the space has kind of realized those are big red flags.
That's
And
right.
don't get me wrong, there's a few projects who followed that model and are positioned really well right now. And there's some that have followed through with their word. But I want to see a product. I want to see done a little bit differently. And there are some limitations with that. Depends on what your venture capital funding is like, how well you might have to bootstrap from the community, but those are the high risk ones, and that's why we always look. I know at Blue Ocean Games Guild in particular, we're looking for innovation, we're looking for compliance, we're looking for games that are going to push the boundaries or do things a little bit differently, but
And
in a
most
more
importantly,
controlled way.
scalable, that
Yes.
they're interlinked, so that everything has to be able to access each other, because if it doesn't, then it's not really a metaverse. It's just a series of
Hmm.
universes. We don't want a series of universes. That's what we've had, and the owners
That's
of
right.
those universes have had control over what they had. You know what I mean? A
Yep.
real metaverse means that everybody is contributing to one space that is all interconnected.
That's right.
So
So,
that's what we
man, I
want.
mean, it blows my mind away to think about how many new games are going to be launched during this whole narrative too, because it's like the FOMO, right? And it's like
Oh,
all
and yeah,
these
and don't even get me started on Ronin. We've got IMX, we've got Ronin, we've got all these other chains that are doing so many huge things. We've got
Polygon.
Cornucopia is happening on the Cardano network right now. A lot of people are really bullish on Cardano.
They're
We got the
also ETH
Polygon
now. They
network
just did
that's
a
going to go
pairing with
multi-chain.
ETH
Yeah,
on
so we've got
Uniswap.
we got the pairing with ETH there. We've got Polygon going multi-chain. Solana is absolutely crazy right now. You know what
Oh
I
man,
mean? So
Fire Dancer is like one of the craziest things. The transactions per second is like, I think if people are sleeping
right.
on Solana, they're making out. They're
So
making
yeah, that doesn't mean like that everybody should go get super stoked this second. Go enjoy your Christmas, man. And all this hype and all this stuff will be there when you get back. And I'm willing to bet that it might be even a better entry point for you then than it is now.
It could go the other way
Just
too.
my
I
opinion.
mean,
Just my opinion.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I agree with your
I'm not
sentiment,
gonna
but
lose sleep on it.
I also know things could be completely different too.
You're not wrong. Yeah, I could be completely wrong, and we could just see Bitcoin skyrocket up to that like 49 or 50K point, the higher Fibonacci, you know what I mean, line there, and hold comfortably there before the whole ETF thing happens, and then everything goes crazy. Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! But we don't know. Am
But
I going
it's
to try to
not,
lose
and I
sleep
think
on
an
that?
important lesson
Probably
too is
not.
it's not up only forever. Like when
Exactly.
you're in that
Exactly. And if
last
actually,
bull run.
if you were to just look at really quickly, I'll share my screen one more time. But here's our Bitcoin chart. I'm going to just show the 1 month and then show the 3 month. Let's zoom that out a little bit here. Zoom that out a lot. Then show the year to date. Here's the year to date of Bitcoin. Look at this gigantic 8 or 9 week candles in a row. Look at this.
Yeah.
Well, at some point in time, I mean, it serves that probably there will be a correction, just a little bit, even a tiny bit. Does that not make
Yep.
sense? It's
Yep.
just like
Absolutely.
it's one giant green candle. Anywhere else you see it, you'll find that generally, and this is pretty general rule, that there will be a correction. And I feel like here with Bitcoin dominance still going up, there will also be like this will go down a little bit, but it won't go down
Hmm.
as much as necessarily alts do in the same period. And then it'll all continue to go back. Where is it going to go down to? I have absolutely no idea. And actually, if I did want to find an idea, what I would do is do the Fibonacci retracement up to the high. The high was like
Yes.
45K. I would set Fibonacci retracement there, and then look at where the next line is down. I'm willing to bet that's somewhere in like this range here. And then you imagine like Bitcoin goes down here, like, that's probably like a 10 or 12% move. I can't really see with the left side here, so I can't show you. But
Buy the
once I
dip.
get anyway, when that happens, yeah, buy that dip a little bit. TCA maybe a little bit more than you might have, and then watch it go back up again and get excited. After Christmas, after you've had your turkey. That's what
I
I think is
mentioned
going
this
to happen.
before. It's an important psychological thing. I think you've been in crypto long enough that when you see red, you look at it as opportunity. And when you see green, you look at it as profits instead of this emotional roller coaster. Because the truth is, most people trade on emotion. That's a
It's
very
true.
dangerous,
It's true.
thing to get in. But man, play to earn just has so much opportunity, so much upside. The volatility of it is insane. I'm just so excited for everything that's to come here. I feel like we could keep talking about this forever, but we're almost
We're
out of
just gonna have
time.
to do another episode next
We're just
week
gonna have to do
once I'm
another
all packed
episode.
up.
Yeah, and geez, you're going to be here pretty soon, so maybe we'll do one more before you get here, and then we'll be able to get back to doing it in person. It's
And
pretty
actually,
exciting.
I've been thinking about making a few shorts here and there talking about like my little journey, because I'm sure a lot of people are curious about, how it is to go from Canada to El Salvador and what
Mhm.
maybe some of the specifics are like and that sort of nonsense. So perhaps I'll make a video
Absolutely.
on that. Be
That'd
kind
be
of cool.
sweet. Well, thanks so much for joining me today, man. It's always nice chatting with you and
Oh, can't wait to see the family.
from yeah, and thanks so much everyone for tuning in. We really appreciate all your support and big heartfelt gratitude for everyone who subscribed to the channel. And thanks for smashing that like. We'll see you guys in the next video. Cheers.
Bye.